ladies and gentlemen, a very warm welcome to the 5th edition of ET Now CX Summit 2024. Our theme today is Journey to Customer Excellence, Uniting Innovation, Insights, and Impact. Today we have various very informative and action-packed panel discussions, keynotes, and fireside chats, and of course the unveiling and launch of the coffee table book, ET Now Best Organizations for CX. So let's get the ball rolling. It's my pleasure to introduce you all to our next speaker, Aditya Singh, Vice President, Product Management, Service Cloud, Salesforce. Aditya is going to enlighten us on how generative AI will transform customer experience.
So several of you here are, service leaders. As service leaders, your customers are expecting personalized experiences. Their demands are increasing. At the same time, the case volume, that you see, the complexity is also increasing. But from a service leadership perspective, you want to provide, those magical experiences to your customers, and you want to make sure that the right agent gets the right case at the right time, and they have the right tools. In addition, you're also trying to reduce cost. You're also trying to increase, revenue. So how do you do this? The answer does lie in technology, and with generative AI, you can bring automation. You can, make sure that you connect different customer experiences across different channels to provide that consistency, to meet that customer expectation. Thank you.
It's my absolute pleasure to introduce you all to our next speaker, Ms. Dipti Sagar, Partner, Chief People and Experience Officer, Deloitte India, and she's going to discuss the dichotomies of customer experience.
Today in my session, I'm going to unpack 4 dichotomies that these organizations have to look at. 4 aspects in customer experience where you have to strike a very delicate balance to unlock the business impact. Very, very important element today. We all are looking at how do we embed Gen AI across our business models, across the customer life cycle and channels. But what is equally important is how do you balance that with human empathy? So how do you really balance technology and empathy? That is a dichotomy to be managed. The second one is optionality, right? We cannot solve everything that the customer would want. So rather give them the option of what they want. If they're willing to pay, that's fine. We give them convenience. Otherwise, they take some effort and do things on their own. The third element, which is on consumerism. So having the right consumerism, but at the same time, balancing that with commercialism at the end of it. We don't run a CSR organization, right? There is a profit to be made. So how do you build profit with purpose? That is the third dichotomy that in customer experience really needs to be looked at and worked on. And the last one, personalization. So building this personalization using these insights and telling the customers how they will be doing it and balancing that with their privacy needs is the fourth dichotomy that needs to be managed. So that builds over a time. Brands and companies invest in the product and customer experience and trust, and then they're able to change that. Then customer experience does create compelling enterprise value and a delight for customers. Thank you.
We have one more session that we will be having right now by Core AI. So ladies and gentlemen, about to take the stage is Mr. David Schreffler, Managing Director, International Markets, Core.ai.
It's really interesting here that McKinsey is saying that generative AI is going to drive something like $4.4 trillion of value in just the next few years. And so with generative AI, we can drive tremendous customer experiences and enterprise experiences with exceptional value. Our entire platform is built upon a set of service layers that consume and use language models, big and small, generative AI, and other foundational layers. And then we have the 3 platforms on top. The one on the left, the conversational or XO, Experience Optimization Platform, that produces virtual assistants of any use case. That is what we have been the industry leader for all these years now. Increasingly, the deployment and use of Search AI as a platform to unlock all the hidden information within your enterprise to serve that up for your customers and for your employees. And now finally, the third platform that I've been hinting at, and that is the Gale platform, which allows enterprises to use a no-code platform to build and train large language models or small language models specific for your enterprise. And it has all the tooling to do things like it has a full guardrail framework within it. It has a full prompt engineering and prompt comparison framework. It allows you to use different base models and therefore not have vendor lock-in and have a common set of tooling across all of that so that without writing code, you can have your own LLMs that can be used for conversational and non-conversational use cases. Thank you, everyone.
I think some of the best practices is making sure that firstly, everyone in your organization is trained and understands, what customer experience is. The second, best practice is making sure that, from a learning and development perspective, you have the right tools, that they have to have the right tools to implement the right CX strategy. The third piece is around data, making sure that you break the data across different silos so that the data and information is flowing across different teams and they can provide a personalized, end-to-end experience. The fourth one is really around technology, making sure that there's automation and you're able to have, again, reduce the amount of manual back and forth so that the customer is getting, the information they need at the right touch point at the right time. And then finally, I think it comes down to, making sure you're using the right analytics, having and demonstrating ROI, right? And making sure that that's your North Star when you're delivering customer experience is extremely, extremely important. I think it comes down again to three key points, right? The first one is a personalized omni-channel experience. So making sure that your end user, as you're going from one channel to another, have that consistency in interaction, based on the information that they've already provided, right? And that ties into the second piece. In order to actually deliver that, you have to make sure that data is being shared. And then, finally, this translates into, revenue. You have to convert the cost center into a revenue center and making sure that you have the training, right, with your agents to just not focus on cost reduction or case deflection, but then, making sure that they're cross-selling and upselling products as well, so that you're really, creating a profit center. At Salesforce, we really, take social responsibility very seriously. From a product and technology perspective, what we try to do is make sure that we are personalizing the journey for customers and making sure that we surface the right articles, right, and knowledge, to the end customer, specifically, if it will help them or benefit them in avoiding any harm, right? So we want to make sure that we take all the data analytics that we have, personalize the journey, but then guide them to the right channel and give them the right solution that'll help them solve not only their business problem, but help benefit society as well.
In today's world, products and services are getting more and more commoditized, and customer experience is coming out as a true differentiator. If you look at it, today's board agendas and top CEOs' agendas across industry, customer centricity holds a very, very high value there. And I truly believe that there are three components that companies can use to develop a successful and future-fit CX model. Firstly, adopting GenAI to really curate experiences, which will help drive dynamic customer journeys, build virtual agents where there are CX talent shortfalls, and also move the needle in personalization, which will be focused on need and profitability. Secondly, readiness in customer data protection with the DPDP Act that will come into force very shortly. The way we access personal information is going to change completely. And that's going to have a significant impact on customer trust and loyalty. And hence, we need to have a very strong foundation data model with reduced technology complications to make sure that we handle the data more accurately. And lastly, the connectivity between employee experience and customer experience is very critical. Today, if you look at the entire customer lifecycle, a large part of the lifecycle is led by human support, and having very engaged employees is really going to drive optimal CX, and that's going to have business metric imperatives. And for that, we'll need to make sure that CX metrics are tied to business metrics to make sure that we can move the needle tangibly, right? End of the day, what we're trying to do is kind of move from a customer communication to customer connection. And that's exactly what we're trying to elevate in CX.
Enterprises should not try to force their customers to interact in a particular channel that they might happen to that the enterprise prefers, but rather they should be omni-channel and sort of omnipresent. And so you need to make sure that you have great customer experiences in every single one of those channels. So omni-channel. Also, make sure that you're maintaining the context between those channels. So context management across those channels, that's another key thing. And I think maybe the third thing is make sure that you're not asking the customer questions to answers where you already know. So anticipate, because use the knowledge that you have of your customer and anticipate what it is that they might be needing. Using those three together, those would be great customer experiences. When we think about CX experiences or customer experiences, we're thinking about, or at least we have a tendency to think about the interaction between the enterprise and the customer, which, yes, that's predominantly the customer experience, but also providing great customer experience is providing great employee experiences and providing great information to those employees so that when they are interacting with the customer, then that's providing a great customer interaction as well. So specifically what I'm thinking about is within the enterprise, there's tons of hidden information that the employees have a difficult time finding. Well, if you can have a technology that consumes all that internal information and puts it all at the fingertips of the employee so that they can more effectively and immediately help the customer, well, that too provides much better customer experience. So customer experience isn't just about the customer interacting with your enterprise, but it's also about your employees and their interaction with those customers and enabling the employees to easily help those customers.
So, ladies and gentlemen, our next session, our panelists are going to be discussing Innovate to Elevate, tech titans leading the charge.
So starting with Sohail, how are you thinking about balancing between simplicity and complexity while delivering a great consumer experience for your customers?
Keep it simple for the customer and take all complexity to the back end. Today, a journey time for even a complex policies are 6 to 7 minutes, including end-to-end, all declarations, all documents, all validations. And a lot of this resides on data. So building the data pipelines at the back end, using ML models, looking at large-term mortality, morbidity, persistency, but bringing it, very simplifying it for the customer.
To shortlist and recognize the best organizations for CX, our research partner, Coherent Market Insights, embarked on a comprehensive journey. To enlighten us further on this process, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like you to please put your hands together for Raj Shah, Strategy Consultant and Business Accelerator, Coherent Market Insights.
We as a research partner had done a very critical and a very large and holistic exercise to evaluate which are those entities in India which are playing a really significant role in bringing that transformation in terms of giving the best, or let's say delightful experience to the customers. The process is very simple. It starts from mining the information that we have, conducting the interviews, analyzing, segregating, sorting, reworking on this, doing a lot of statistical analysis around the customer's opinion that we have received, and then understanding which enterprise have really been transformed into their journey of offering their customers a delightful experience. And that was the outcome that we did. The process included the entire analysis, which resulted into formulation of results, narrowing down to the best 200 enterprises to be rewarded today. Thank you so much, guys.
Please put your hands together for N. Ramesh, Director, Technology, Department of Telecom, Mumbai. So, sir, if you could please do the honors unveiling the coffee table book. Ladies and gentlemen, presenting to you ET Now Best Organizations for CX Coffee Table Book. So, Mr. Ramesh, please do stay back because we'd like you to also do the honors felicitating the Best Organizations for Customer Experience 2024. So, ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together and welcome to the stage the Capital Small Finance Bank. that, we've come to the close of the 5th edition of ET Now CX Summit 2024. Thank you so much.
I think today, digital and analytics play a very, very major role in redefining the customer experience. First of all, thanks to digital and the partnerships and the India stack, we are able to take a lot of friction out of the customer journeys. What used to happen in the matter of hours, today a policy form is probably filled in the matter of minutes. Secondly, thanks to the integration, there are almost zero documents and the journey is very seamless. Third, thanks to analytics, we can do a lot of risk profiling upfront, due to which we ask customer much less questions. And finally, at the whole crux of in our industry of life insurance is paying the claims. And therefore, thanks to our using analytics upfront and try to underwrite risk in a better way, we are able to honor most of our claims. Today, we have an industry best 99.65% of claims ratio, thanks to our ability to underwrite risk, manage and use analytics, and able to use and therefore give that instant gratification to the customers.
When we started, it was something what unique we can give to customers. Since as a local area bank, the key focus was rural and semi-urban areas. So we thought that what the customer presently is deprived of, what he's not getting vis-a-vis the urban customers. So we started with the extended banking hours. Within those days, I'm talking about 24 years plus, when we started, the customer hours for banking in those areas were limited, like they used to do customer dealings only from 10 to 2. And then we started on day one from 10 to 5. And that also from Monday to Friday, and on Saturday, Sundays also from 10 to 2. Like we started with a 7-day branch banking, 24 years plus for a rural customer, which was like creating a business which was already there, but which evolved around customer for giving experience which earlier he has never thought of.
In this episode, we also bring you the glimpse of the 3rd edition of the ET Now Retail and E-Commerce Innovation Summit, where the future of retail and e-commerce is redefined. This year, the summit brought together industry leaders and visionaries to navigate the evolving landscape of consumer trends and groundbreaking technology in the retail and e-commerce landscape. The gathering also witnessed the launch of a report, The Future of Retail, Sweating Existing Assets and Investments by Deloitte India. Praveen Govindu, partner at Deloitte India, addressed the gathering on growth opportunities in the consumer sector, sweating existing assets and investments.
Can we look at sweating the existing investments and assets, right? As businesses, we have obviously invested in our customer, in understanding their buying behaviors, in the products. I think how they're looking at ensuring that there is a lot of product innovation that happens. A lot of investments have gone behind product innovation. So broadly, what we are saying is there are two parts, right? How can you attract the right customer to the brand? And then how do you meaningfully engage, with those customers? The first point is all about leveraging our understanding of the customer. Then second, can we enhance as a brand, as a retailer, as a company, enhance the perceived value to the customer, right? So this is essentially going to allow you to attract the right customer, right traffic to the store. And then the other dimension is how do we meaningfully engage with them? And the last thing is about, can we, obviously again as retail, there is a set of infrastructure we have created, whether it is distributors, whether it is retail outlets. So how can we kind of again leverage that infrastructure, sweat it more, to be able to penetrate and cover additional markets, right? Thank you so much.
Inaugural CEO panel discussion shed light on adapting to disruption, CEO insights on thriving in a rapidly changing retail landscape.
We've seen a lot of changes in consumption, whether it's premiumization, looking at the revival in the rural economy that's happened in the last 6 months, to tier 2 and beyond, right? The next 400 cities, which are 1 lakh plus. So there's a lot of change in consumption. So we'll try and understand that. So with that, we'll start the discussion. So Rajesh, what are some of the key changes in consumption that you're seeing? What are some of the key trends that you're spotting in the market? It'll be good to understand that from an apparel standpoint.
Sure. So Anand, I think we have been witnessing several changes, especially in the last 5 years or so. After pandemic, we saw that suddenly there was kind of a K-shaped recovery where premium was going up and mass or value segment was not growing. But suddenly in this year, we see, especially post Diwali last year, we said that there is almost an inverted K. Now, premium is not doing that good, but mass and value segment are growing very fast.
A standalone address by Neil Burman, GM and Business Head APAC at Core.ai emphasized creating transformative retail experiences with generative and conversational AI.
Right at the end of pandemic, we were introduced to the generative AI models, and by application of these models into our businesses, we are today seeing the same shift or the same drive that we are coming across the way we live, shop, and interact. So retail being an industry which thrives on experience, and experience comes from rich data. What happens if the experience goes wrong? So 1 out of 3 customers would walk away if there is a bad experience. So what are the challenges when it comes to customer experience or even employee experience? And how do we look at overcoming that? So we see digital chat and self-service, which is enabling the online sales. So the online sales drivers can be enabled. The customer support, of course, is or remains the key factor with which the customer experience can be driven. And then, of course, fulfillment, which is again, a combination of the single view of inventory and the single view of the customer segmentation that we are driving. This is then layered with the contact or the support centers that we have, where we have the voice calls landing into our contact centers or the voice calls landing into our storefronts, which can then be automated or can be made more intelligent using this technology. And the last, of course, would be the employee engagement. So when it comes to the employee engagement or the employee enablement, we all understand that to a larger extent, that is a sunken cost for any brand. The employee enablement or the engagement being automated can give us an enhanced result. So technologies like conversational AI is stepping in to make most of these pain points possible for us very seamlessly. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for your time.
We have done a report around future of retail, specifically focused on how we see the consumers evolving, how we see their spends changing in the coming year. And very specifically what came out to that report is how can we leverage our existing investments in the customer, our existing investments in infrastructure, our existing understanding of the channels, etc. How can we leverage these investments to be able to deliver on our growth targets for the coming year, whether it is same-store sales growth, or whether it is driving volumes, right? And so that will be the biggest thing that companies could do. How can we ensure we are maximizing the leverage of what we already know about our customer, our product, our channels, and then build on top of it?
It's a good time to be in consumer and retail. We've seen growth in the premium segment post the pandemic. A lot of investments have been made to grow premium segments across multiple categories. Plus, the mass segment has also grown and is showing signs of recovery, especially in rural India. And with the predicted monsoon being good, we expect a good festival season. And all of this is going to help retailers and consumer companies grow their businesses in the next 2 quarters. And it's important to look at sweating existing assets. They have been making a lot of investments in growth, expansion, and scale. But how is it that you can get more from what you have? By looking at your existing customers, looking at your existing stores, investing in the right technology, and overall putting up a customer experience which will help you sweat whatever assets you've invested in is going to be the driving theme for retailers in the next 2 quarters.